you got the whole world at your fingertips? Do something.
Yeah.
All right. I think I've mentioned this several times in the past that I was told that my presentations were kind of airy-fairy, kind of up in the air, something that we can't do today. But see, that's the way I like it because it gives you something to push forward, to push towards. We can't grow by continuing to do the same thing on a daily basis. We're going to have to reach out. And we're going to have to push the envelope, so to speak. The theme for this month is, if you build it in consciousness, it will come. If you build it in consciousness, it will come. So if I had to put a topic to my message today, it would be something like go for broke or bet the farm. This signifies that we should put more energy and effort in acquiring a greater consciousness. And the reason for that is because it is our consciousness, good or bad, that gives us what we get. What you are now is a result of your past consciousness, and what you will be tomorrow is the result of your consciousness right now. So consciousness, thinking and beliefs are everything. You don't have to work hard for it. You just have to want it. And when you want it above all else, you will find a way. It will be seeking you. The conscious mind controls the subconscious. The conscious mind controls the subconscious. And the subconscious mind controls conditions, controls your life, controls the things around you. It's that simple. It may not be that easy to implement, but we can continue to try to implement, and we will do it. There's a state of consciousness that can heal instantly. Think about that. There's a state of consciousness that can heal instantly. But if you cannot acquire it immediately, don't give up. Continue. I believe that we have an obligation to the oneness, to the unity of life, to continue to pursue the best we can of consciousness that can heal instantly. Just think of the sickness that are going on now, the sickness and discourse that we have in our own life. It is possible that we can heal that. We are made in God's image and likeness, and God don't suffer from these things. So we don't have to suffer from them either. So the question is, what are we going to do about it? The beginning of this message today is somewhat autobiographic, and that I will share with you some things that happened to me as a child, and I think that it has a bearing on my spiritual journey today. And I share this because it may help you. Now, I'm saying that because I'm probably the secret person around here, and I don't think too many people older than me, so I've got some experience. And this experience, I believe that helped me, and I would like to share with this. During my childhood, when my sisters and brothers, we used to play this game of make-believe. We called it playing our folks in. And what we would do, we would imagine ourselves having, being, and doing the things that we want to do when we became adults. Now, if I were to look at my life today, it closely resembles those make-believe that I going through as a child, 12, 13, 14 years old. So I know it works. I know it works because it's working for me. We didn't have very much when I was growing up. In fact, we had even less than that. But I had pictured in my mind some things that I wanted to have, be, and do when I became an adult. So in planning my life as an adult, I took a more direct route. And let me explain what a more direct route means. If you, or if one, were to compare the flow of water in the Suez Canal, you'd find that to be 101 miles long. If you were to compare the flow of water in the Mississippi River, you'd find that it's 2,340 miles long. Now, if you would compare the way the crow flies, the start and end, the Suez Canal would still be 101 miles long. But the Mississippi River would probably be somewhere less than 900. The Mississippi River meanders, it flows through, it smells the roses. It's not in a big hurry. In fact, there's some places where you even flow north. Well, there was a time in my life when my life was like the Suez Canal, direct to the point. I wasn't getting that much happiness, enjoyment out of life because I had a goal. I had set my mind of what I wanted to have, be, and do. And I probably neglected my family somewhat because I was focused on making it. You know, when you find yourself as a sharecropper in Mississippi in the early 40s or late 30s or whatever it is, you know, things weren't that great. And I was determined that I was going to have a better life for my family than what I was living at the time. So I was working in time and motion studies and systems and procedures where we eliminated all wasted motion on a production line. You were to move a certain way, pick up a certain item with one hand and move it this way, and the people were timed. And this is what we were involved in, time and motion studies, to eliminate wasted motion. My life somewhat reflected that. I didn't have very much wasted motion in my life because I was trying to make it. I had my nose to the grindstone. I had my plans, and I was working my plans. I think Naomi saw this. She gave me a book called Putting Your Own Strings. And I stayed in bed that whole day reading that book and embodying it. Then I came across another book called The Prophet, familiar with it. So for me to turn my life around, it took me 2 books. I was stubborn. Now, most people turn their life around using 1 book. It took me 2. And after embodying those books, I eliminated the nose to the grindstone approach that I was taking to life. That quest was behind me. And I had embarked upon a spiritual quest, not even knowing that it was a spiritual quest at the time. But I noticed a difference in my life. I was relaxed more. I was enjoying life a lot more. And I was trying things that I had heard, but looking for parking spaces. I would go downtown San Francisco and I would program me a parking space, and I had that parking space when I got there. I mean, things were just they were just fantastic for me. So I said, I think I got hold of something, and I want to make the best of it. I wasn't moving fast enough in my quest. I wanted more each day. So if I were to ask myself today, why was it that I could not move in as fast as I would like? The answer would be, I did not have the consciousness. I didn't have the consciousness. And this is why I've said this many times, New Year's resolution failed because we don't have the consciousness. We just have an idea, and then we wonder a year later, what happened to my New Year's resolution for last year? You get the consciousness. If you build it in consciousness, it will come. So my life today, out on the farm, enjoying life, enjoying my family, resembles the idea that I had. So I know visualization works. Let me share with you a notion that Dr. Holmes had in the Scientific Mind book, an allegory or symbolic statement. He said that there were 4 men that were out of work, that had been employed at one time, but out of work now, and all 4 went to a practitioner. And then the practitioner, what the practitioner did was to heal the belief of inactivity, because we're talking consciousness, we're talking thought. So when you have something in your life, it's a matter of your thinking and you believe it that caused that. So it's going to be a matter of your thinking and belief that's going to unconscious. So the practitioner heals the belief in inactivity and declares each one employed and compensated. Individual A was making $15, B was making $50, C $75, and D $100. And then the treatment was successful, and all 4 of them got position. A 15, B 50, C 75, and D 100. So the same treatment of prayer was spoken for each one. So why didn't each one receive $100? Why didn't it's the same treatment? The law says we can have only that which we can take. We can have only that which we can take. And what are we talking about taking? That's consciousness, the power of consciousness. Dr. Holmes said in concerning that, and this is a quote, the mold which their perception of life provided was limited to their subjective remembrance. The mold the mold which their perception of life provided was limited to their subjective remembrance. So we have these ideas and notions in our subconscious mind, and that is what's holding us back. But we don't have to always be held back. We can always move forward if we want to. An individual can only receive to the extent of his or her consciousness. And then he asked, this Dr. Holmes asked, can a pint dipper hold more than a pint? So if your consciousness will only allow you to hold a pint, a gallon, or whatever it is, and if that's not enough for you, you don't have to settle for that. You don't have to settle. You can always increase your consciousness. But unless we provide an increase of consciousness, we will never grow. You can expand the finite, but you cannot contract the infinite. So we can expand. No matter how lowly we feel that we are, we can always expand. But we got to want it. We receive that on which our mind dwells, and I think this is a key. We receive that on which our mind dwells. And when you fight something, say that if you find yourself in a situation that you don't like, and you start fighting that, what you're doing, that's something you've given it more power. You've given it strength. Why? Because you are thinking about it. Your mind is dwelling on it. That's why it becomes more difficult for you to get rid of it. Because you're still thinking about it, no matter how you would like not to think about it, you're still thinking about it. So that means that we should always focus on the things that we do want and not on the things that we do not want. We forget that every thought we have is a treatment, and a treatment means an input into subconscious mind, the creative mind. It is the creative mind that creates conditions for us. And that comes from our input of thought, beliefs, ideas, inklings, notions, or whatever. They all go into the creative mind, and they provide a result. Now, a lot of these results we don't particularly like, but that's a choice that we made. It's a choice that we made. We are made in God's image, and that's the thing, sometimes we forget that. We are made in God's image. God is perfect. We are perfect too. And I think this is something that we should always remember, that we are perfect too. So why do we appear sickly then? Because of the choices that we have made, because of our thinking. And we can stop those negative ways of thinking and keep in our consciousness the things that we want, and not the things that we do not want. If we would remember to spend our time on the things that we want and not fighting things that don't even exist, and this is what we do. We fight things that don't even exist. Joe Goldsmith gave an analogy about Marconi, the guy that invented the radio. He says when he was young, when Marconi was young, he said that he would be the one to give wireless broadcasting to the world. And so he invented the radio. So journalists asked him after he was, had done that, said, why is it that you were saying that you would be the one to give wireless broadcasting to the radio? And he said something like this: all of the other scientists was trying to figure out how to overcome the resistance in the air to the voices that would be broadcasted, when I knew all along there were no resistance. There were no resistance. And if you look at the fundamental churches to a great extent, they spend their time trying to overcome sin. Sin being a consciousness of separation, and evil is the act of separation. But we know we can never be separated from the Creator. We can never be. We are some part of God. So, we at New Thought know that sin and evil are not things of themselves. So we don't give them the energy to push us down, so to speak. We know that thoughts are things, and we direct our energy to developing a greater consciousness, because it is our consciousness that creates our body, our life, and affairs. It's important to know that any suggestion that the body, any suggestion that you have, that you embody, become memories And it's our memory that we hold in conscious that make us who we are. It is our memories and consciousness that make us what we are. All memories manifest themselves in the body. All memories manifest themselves in the body. I am notorious with myself for keeping little notes and things that jog my memory to remind me of some things that I should be thinking about. And they change from time to time. So, I'm not like most people. I probably go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I get up 2 o'clock in the morning. Since I don't have a 9 to 5 right now, I tend to my animals and stuff like that. But I go to bed and get up when I get, when I get ready. In fact, you may come to the house and find me sleeping at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, but I had been up all night. So when I get up, usually I read. The first thing that I do is probably do some reading. And some of these thoughts I carry throughout the day. And I want to share 3 short quotes with you. They're based on not giving up, choosing to be free, and all things are possible. The first one is about Thoreau, not giving up. When one advances confidently in the direction of his own dream and endeavors to live the life that he has imagined, he will meet with the success unexpectedly and come out. The second is by Home. This is choosing to be free. He said, know your own mind. Think what you wish to think. Be what you wish to be. Feel what you wish to feel, and place no limits on principle. Place no limits on principle. Principles are not bound by precedents. And the third one, by Napoleon Hill, that all things are possible, is what the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. See, thoughts are everything. Your thoughts and beliefs. It is not going out and working hard. It's your thinking and your belief that creates your life for you. We have the power to multiply fish and loaves, to heal the sick and raise the dead. What are we going to do with all this power? Are we going to continue to be just average individuals? Or will we come forth and step out and say, if nobody else is doing it, I will do it? You may be out there by yourself for a while, but that's something that I think is a challenge that each one of us can pursue. You will never get to the place where you have nothing to do. You'll never be bored, because there's always something to do. The only way that we can reap the full benefits of these laws is to understand them and obey them. If you build it in consciousness, it will come. There is a state of consciousness that can heal instantly, and I think that would be a good idea if we work toward that. This is somewhat comical. My name is Charles Hall, and I approve this message.